There's two reasons why Caitlin Clark is being accused of flopping. The first is because she didn't fall in a certain kind of way that people would expect someone to fall if they got hammered. The second is because of a deceptive and distorted and an inaccurate slow motion video that has been circulating around the web. And I'm going to explain to you why after listening to this press conference and then later showing you the video why this is completely inaccurate in my opinion.
Good for their students, great win for them, and I was just trying to exit the court as quickly as possible, so I started running, and I was absolutely just hammered by somebody trying to run onto the court and basically blindsided and, kind of scary. Could have caused a pretty serious injury to me and knocked the wind out of me, but luckily my teammates kind of picked me up and got me off the court, so, and their AD already came and apologized to me, so I really appreciate that, and this just comes with the territory. I mean, I'm sure they tried their best to do whatever they could. Obviously, it didn't work, and that's disappointing. But, just focus now on the game and, ways we can get better.
Now, where in that press conference did she show anything except the fact that she was still completely startled by the entire scenario? It's still affecting her. She was rubbing her face in the beginning, and she's probably still trying to process everything. But to say that she flopped is so ridiculous to me. And again, I'm going to back it up with some receipts and talk to you a little bit about that in a second. But let's take a look now at the video, and I'm going to break that down also based on my experiences as a professional basketball skills trainer, as a 4-year intercollegiate basketball player, and as a college basketball coach for 24 years.
Look at this. Oh my God. Isn't it great?
Now you can go back and watch that video again. But that girl was going full speed. The only thing that she saw were the other people standing at half court. So she literally was just excited, understandably so, because they had just upset Iowa. Caitlin was on her way to the locker room, also trying to get there as fast as possible. Now let me ask you a question. One of the most skilled players in the world, do you think she's clumsy? Do you think that she's incapable of avoiding somebody? No, that's probably the other person. So the conclusion is she didn't see her because it happened so fast. The other girl was going so fast. Now let's break that down even further. That when she got to Caitlin, she bent her left arm. If you look closely, her left arm went into the side, possibly her elbow. Now, if you know anything about getting the wind knocked out of you, which I have, and there's football players that may watch this that can understand this, because it's usually football players that get the wind knocked out of them. You don't have to get hit very hard if you don't know how to breathe properly when you get hit in a certain spot, on the side or in your solar plexus. It doesn't take much for you to go down. Not to mention the fact that Caitlin Clark is not going to flop in this situation. Why would you flop? Like literally, why would you flop and stay there longer and not get the hell out of there? She didn't flop. She went down because she got the wind knocked out of her. Like that whole premise has me so infuriated. I literally can't even wrap my head around it. Now I've heard everybody from fans to former WNBA players make this argument about how she exaggerated. She didn't exaggerate. She was startled. Like if you ever have been in sports and you get blindsided, that shit is alarming to say the least. That will fuck with you for a few minutes. She was literally blindsided and she was nailed and arguably with an elbow in the ribs, which can knock the wind out of you. So there's that part. The girl who was running to center court, she got hit on her shoulder. So even though she fell, we can all agree, not one of the best athletes in the world. And is not throwing any shade on her. She's a fan. And Caitlin Clark is very well versed on how to avoid contact when necessary or to initiate contact when necessary. And I don't think that she was trying to initiate contact here, and I certainly don't think she was flopping. It's so frustrating. And then there was nothing about her press conference that was anything that was overboard, exaggerating, going in. If anything, she undersold the extent of how scared she was, how it was still affecting her, and she didn't say anything that was inaccurate. Literally, she could have had a torn ACL. Would you then have said something? Is that what it would have taken for you to say, yeah, man, wow, she got nailed? Like, what? Like, y'all are so off base with this, whoever is agreeing with these slow motion, like, angles that are being shown, which are completely deceptive and inaccurate. So anyways, that's my take on the situation. I just completely disagree. Like, if you want to say that Caitlin talks smack and she's, like, gamesmanship is a thing with her, like, fine. I could care less about smack talk. But the narrative that should be pushed for Caitlin Clark is exactly the opposite of what was being pushed today. She's not a flopper. She's tough. She's a 5-tool player. She's literally a triple threat. And what happened at that game was dangerous, understandable by anyone who's a fan. We all know that fans rush the court. No one is having a problem with that part of it. We're having a problem with the fact that people are calling out Caitlin Clark for flopping. It's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. And there's no way. She doesn't deserve that. I'm sorry.